Hi guys, as promised, today is part 2 of my Arabiyat Prestige perfume haul. I have already talked about 8 perfumes in my recent video. Basically, today is a continuation. I have here 6 perfumes that I think are outstanding. If you watch my channel, you know that I love the quality of Arabiyat Prestige fragrances. So I actually went to their headquarters when I was visiting Dubai, and I have discovered a lot of new and amazing releases. Now, 4 of these were released last year. I have tried them when I was in Beauty World last October, and I was very impressed. And now I'm so happy that I have them in my collection and I will be able to review them to you guys. I also have here their newest collection. This is the Noire. I have here Noire and Noire Absolu. So let me start off with Noire. By the way, I love this bottle. And guys, I'm telling you, the bottle is very heavy as well. This bottle looks so special, very elegant in my opinion. Love the black and white tone of it, and I love the fact that it is extremely heavy, as it is definitely giving luxury vibes. Now let's talk about the scent. It opens up quite green and aromatic, and then as it dries down, lavender peeks through, giving it that strong masculine vibes. The strong lavender here is toned down by the vanilla, tonka bean, and patchouli in the base, giving this fragrance that sophisticated, quiet, luxury vibes. I adore this fragrance. I think it is a fantastic fragrance for men that smells very luxurious for what it is. This is a kind of fragrance that I will highly recommend to any man out there who's looking for a sophisticated, everyday kind of scent. An aromatic, woody, ambery scent that is surprisingly fresh as well. I know my description sounds a bit heavy, but the texture of this fragrance is so light and fresh. That's why I said that it is amazing for everyday use. Let's just say sophisticated, everyday, aromatic, ambery scent. That's how I'm gonna describe Noire. Performance is amazing on this one. I let my husband actually wear it on Valentine's Day, and guys, I loved how he smelled like. To me, it smells like a very sophisticated gentleman, and I highly recommend it. Don't sleep on this one. By the way, it is inspired by Dior Homme Parfum, the 2025 version. I haven't tried that fragrance yet, so I'm not going to compare them side by side, but all I know is that Noire is an amazing buy. Highly recommend it, as it definitely smells more luxurious than what it is. Next up is the brother of Noire. This is Noire Absolu. Now, Noire Absolu is very different from Noire because this is a fresh, fruity, daily kind of scent. It opens up quite fresh. I will say the raspberry, bergamot, and clary sage gave it that aromatic and fruity vibes. However, as it dries down, it becomes ambery. Once again, another beautiful scent. I'm gonna categorize this fragrance more of like a fresh, fruity, ambery scent that smells so handsome. So if Noire is more of like a luxury, sophisticated kind of gentleman, I would say Noire Absolu is more of like a laid back cutie. Yeah, that is the vibe of it. I love this fragrance as well. If I have to pick which one is more signature scent worthy, I think I will go for Noire, because this is really giving kind of like CEO vibes, whereas Noire is just giving, yeah, that Brad Pitt in the 90s vibes. Really, really good. I love the fact that it is light, fresh, aromatic, but then it has a sweet, ambery aspect, giving it more of that chilled vibe. I'm saying chilled, but still smelling great. Now, this is inspired by Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir EDP. I haven't tried that fragrance yet, so I don't want to comment how close they are. However, all I can say is that Noire Absolu is an amazing, fresh, fruity, aromatic scent, perfect as well for daily use, but it has a different vibe. So once again, this is more of like a relaxed, cutie, or let's just say handsome vibe, whereas Noire Absolu is more of like a CEO gentleman vibes. It's just up to you to choose which one are you, or better yet, get these two, because I think these two are really fantastic. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. All right, next up is the Ramad collection. I have tried these perfumes in Beauty World and I'm quite impressed as well. First, from the Ramad collection, let's talk about Ramad, of course. Now, I will say that this is very masculine leaning. This is a warm, spicy, yet fresh scent that any man can pull off. So apparently it is inspired by Naxos, and I definitely noticed that from first spray. However, Ramad is Naxos without the heaviness. So let's say it doesn't have like that heavy, thick, textured honey. Having said that, easier to wear, especially if you are living in a tropical climate, for example. I would say the cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon, and lavender are very, very prominent. As it dries down, the tobacco, amber, and tonka give this fragrance depth without weighing it down. The tobacco in here, I would say, is very smooth, very wearable, and likable. I highly recommend Ramad if you're looking for a long-lasting, light and airy version of Naxos by Xerjoff. This is a solid release for men. Next up is Ramad Louban. I actually like the cream and gold color of this bottle. It looks chic, right? Now let's talk about the scent. Ramad Louban is a spicy, incensey, resinous scent that is giving Amouage vibes. I swear, the first time I wore it, I was thinking that, oh, this must be inspired by an Amouage fragrance because of how spicy and incensey it is, especially in the opening. However, the good thing about it is that it becomes sweeter in the dry down. It doesn't lose its spiciness and incensiness or incensey vibes, but the sweetness kind of controlled the resinous facet of this fragrance, making it quite unisex. This is the most unisex out of the 6 perfumes that I'm talking about today. I love how it is sweetened up in the dry down. So it has that resinous benzoin and labdanum. However, the amber is kind of toned down. I can't really pinpoint what's giving the sweetness in here. I find it quite powdery as well, especially in the air. I find this fragrance very luxurious smelling, more of like a fall winter scent. And the color of the bottle is kind of describing the vibe of this fragrance. It's like a clean yet resinous incensey scent that I think is perfect for fall and winter. Ramad Louban is inspired by Amouage Reasons. I have tried that fragrance once when I was transiting in Dubai, and I actually really like it. Now, I don't want to compare them because for sure it's not one-to-one dupe. It kind of reminds me of it, but we all know the depth of Amouage is just incomparable. So having said that, even if Ramad Louban may not be one-to-one dupe of Reasons. I will say that they're giving the same vibes. I actually find Louban to be more unisex, as I find Reasons to be very incensey for my liking. So yeah, I find it too masculine as well. But with Ramad Louban, I think that this is like a very wearable unisex scent. You will enjoy this fragrance if you enjoy sweet, ambery, incensey scent. Performance is outstanding. Let's say lasts around 7 to 8 hours, and it even stays longer on clothes, guys. Once again, Ramad Louban. Next up is Ramad Myrrh. Now, this to me is another warm, spicy kind of scent. However, it has the cashmeran, sandalwood, and tonka, giving this fragrance that relaxing vibe. I'm gonna categorize it as a fresh, spicy, woody, creamy, cocooning scent. Definitely beautiful. I will say out of the four, this is the freshest one. And what I mean by fresh is that it smells kind of like foresty, pines, woodsy kind of scent. However, as mentioned, because of the cashmere, sandalwood, and tonka bean that are in here, it makes it more of like a relaxing kind of scent, not too spicy. And I really, really like this fragrance as well. Actually, the first time I've tried all of this Ramad, this was my favorite. But after testing it on skin, I noticed that it is very masculine leaning. So this is actually going to my husband's perfume shelf. Apparently, it is inspired by Ormond Jane's Mon Tobacco. Now, I've tried that fragrance once, and to be honest, I don't really remember how it smells like, so I'm not gonna comment on how close they are. But all I can say is that this is a beautiful, fresh, woody, sappy kind of a scent that I think a lot of men will enjoy. It's a masculine leaning scent in my opinion. Performance is amazing. Highly recommend it for those of you who enjoy fresh, pine, woody scent with an underlying fluffy texture. All right, next up is a very popular fragrance, Ramad Oriental. Guys, you don't know how excited I was to be owning this fragrance. I've tried it when I was in Beauty World, and of course, the first time I tried it, I knew that it was inspired by Amouage Outlets. I will say similar. However, as it rises down, I think they're not that similar. Now, Ramad Oriental starts off quite warm, spicy, peppery. As it rises down, it becomes sweeter. Probably the vanilla and tonka that are used here are very sweet. Ramad Oriental is very potent, by the way. I let my husband wear it several times, and I'm telling you, the projection is quite monstrous. So anyway, the scent though, I will say I enjoyed it more at first spray. I find this fragrance to be quite sweet for a man. So yeah, in my opinion, this is like Amouage Outlets, but make it more unisex. Actually, make it more feminine leaning. They are similar. However, I find Ramad Oriental, of course, not to be having that depth that Amouage Outlets has. And also, I find the Outlets to be fresher. Ramad Oriental in the dry down smells very warm and sweet. On my husband's skin, it becomes very sweet and actually a little bit cloying, probably because he oversprayed. But yeah, that is my thought about Ramad Oriental. I know a lot of people rave about this fragrance, but it's not my favorite Ramad, even though it is nice. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love how creamy, woody it is. It's just that I don't really enjoy smelling it on a man. I prefer it like on myself. And I think you will enjoy Ramad Oriental if you are into sweet, creamy sandalwood scent that is also a little bit spicy. I wish it is fresher. I think Ramad Oriental will shine the most during fall and winter time, as it can be polarizing if oversprayed because it is that potent. However, guys, Ramad Oriental, though, quality-wise, is another chef's kiss. But yeah, just not my favorite. So just a little recap in today's list. Ramad Louban is my personal favorite, as I find it to be unisex and it is a kind of scent that I will actually use. Whereas Ramad Oriental is unisex. I can imagine myself wearing it. However, it is my least favorite in today's video. And Noire Absolu and Noire are amazing chef's kiss. If you're a man or if you are a woman looking for a perfume to buy for your man, I highly recommend this too. So that is the video for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed. Next video might be all the viral Middle Eastern perfumes that I am testing out lately, and there will be a lot of tea in that video. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you've tried any of these perfumes in the comments down below and what you think of them. And see you in my next one. Bye!